Welcome back to the program. Great pleasure right now to welcome someone I've been looking forward to talking to for a long time, Joe Garagiola, Hall of Famer. Got a great new baseball book out called Just Play Ball. He joined us now by telephone. Joe, thanks for being with us today in Sarasota. How are you?
I'm fine, Doug. It's a little warm here in Arizona.
You're about 20 degrees.
15 yesterday, and I don't know what it is today. I'm not going out.
I was going to say, you're about 25 degrees warmer than it is in Florida out there.
Well, you guys enjoy it because I don't know if anybody enjoying this kind of weather, man. It is hot.
Yeah. Now, when you were playing ball, you must have come through Sarasota when the White Sox were here, right? And then
I go way back to when the Red Sox were there.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? Payne Field?
Payne Park, right?
Yeah, sure. I go back to '46. We used to take the trip. Sarasota and then Bradenton. The long trip was from St. Petersburg to Lakeland. That's before that big interstate was at 5, I think it is.
Yep, right. 4, right.
Oh,
yep.
yeah.
Yep.
I've seen that part of Florida really grow. It's a beautiful area.
Really is. And the Pirates, which you played for over in McKechnie Field, they're still there in Bradenton.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really a great hotbed for baseball, and we're kind of struggling through with the Devil Rays right now, Joe.
Well, you've got a young ball club. And when you got a young ball club, that's the price that you pay. But you got some pretty good players. And, of course, you've had some key injuries that have hurt that ball club. Baldelli, I like him a lot.
Good player. And, yeah, they can put some runs on the board. It's just the pitching is a little trouble right now.
Preaching to the choir because yesterday the Diamondbacks only had to get 6 outs, the 6 toughest outs in baseball, and they couldn't do it. And it was the bullpen. So I don't know of anybody that's really that deep in pitching. You can't ever have too much pitching. And then, of course, Diamondbacks were hoping to get Randy Johnson back in the rotation, and he's doubtful. I don't know when he'll come back.
Yeah, when you have that kind of back injury, and, of course, he's had surgery on it a couple of times, you're never quite sure what's going to happen. And what is he, 43, 42 right now? So,
yeah, and you can't pitch with the pain that he has, obviously. He says that when he lands on his front foot, the pain was shooting through like somebody was putting a knife through his leg, and you just can't pitch like that. Not him, anyhow, because he's a hard thrower, he's a power pitcher, and he's up in the... When I saw him pitch that last good game, he was in the mid-90s and looked like the Johnson of old, and you said, we may have caught some lightning in a bottle, but that was not the case.
We've been talking a lot on the station here about just, in the old days, and I don't say too old, but I mean, I remember like watching guys like Tom Seaver growing up and Juan Marichal. Those guys would go the full 9 innings, pitch 150, 160 pitches, and have complete games. You just don't see that anymore.
Well, Marichal, I think, had something like 30 complete games alone. You don't have teams that have 30 complete games.
I know.
That's one of the things I write about in the book, Doug, that the pitch counts and the radar gun. I mean, guys look at it, and I know pitch counts. You see guys look like they're going pretty good, and then all of a sudden it's almost like somebody said, hey, you just pitched your 90th ball. You're tired.
Yeah.
They'll say, well, I'm up to 90, 95. I must be getting tired. And then the radar gun, I know the other night, I forget who the pitcher was. I was one of the young guys with Baltimore. The radar gun said he touched 100. And I looked at the guy who operates for the Diamondbacks because it's a different gun, and he was motioning 97 to the bench. So there are discrepancies, but hitters, sometimes they look at that scoreboard and they say, I don't think he's throwing that hard, or I didn't realize he was throwing that hard. And pitchers, they see that. The fans love it. It's great for the fans. But pitchers see it and say, I threw harder than that. That guy's wrong. I'll show him, and he's going to try it, and he'll overthrow it. It never used to be that way. And I've often said, I don't care how hard you throw the ball, if it doesn't have movement, the batter's going to tear out a row of seats.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's part of the criticism down here with the Devil Rays. It seems like whenever a pitcher gets up right around the 100 mark, they get him yanked, and it's cost them a lot of ball games this year, bringing in the bullpen,
It's a universal, I don't know if it's a problem, but Devil Rays, they don't hold a patent on that.
No, that's for sure.
Even when guys are rehabbing, I say, well, he's going to throw 40 pitches off flat ground. And then a couple days pass, and you see, well, he threw 80 pitches off the mound. Then he's going to start a game and say, well, we're going to watch him, but we don't think we want him to throw more than 75 pitches. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And it's the same way in the minor leagues, so these guys aren't developing, the arms to go 9 innings even in the minor leagues.
Well, I just wonder if it isn't because they're getting all these big bonuses and you want to pack them up and saran wrap and stick them in a freezer so they don't have anything happen to them.
I don't know. It's still a great game, don't get me wrong, but like you said, it's changed a lot even since I started watching it. My first year remembering baseball was the '69 Mets, so it has changed quite a bit.
But it is. But you know what? It's still a lot of fun. It's played by people, not by numbers, and that was the impetus of the book. I just got tired of reading about steroids and human growth hormones, and people don't want to hear that. And I found myself constantly saying, why don't they just play ball, enjoy the game? I mean, the book is one anecdote after another, and I say it with some degree of humility. If you don't get a laugh out of that book, something's wrong, because there are things in there that I know haven't been written about, especially with the catchers going out to the pitcher, and that people are curious about that, or they're curious about when they see an umpire call a play and it looks like the two guys, the runner, are discussing it, and then all of a sudden they both break out in a laugh. You wonder what in the world went on there, or that quick argument, and I got anecdotes about that. It's just a quickie, Doug. Joe Torre slides into second base. Tom Gorman calls him out. And Torre, all he said when he told the story was, I told him, I don't think so. And Gorman says, come on, the ball was here. He put the tag on you, Joe. You know you're out. He said, I don't think so. He said, what else? The ball's here ahead of you. He puts the tag on you. You're out. He said, I don't think so. He said, how could you be so sure? He said, I'm sitting on the ball. And that's the kind of thing that I think baseball fans love, or when pitchers start to tip off that they're getting a little bit tired, and the catcher or the coach goes out to break the mood, and you liable to get a funny incident out of it.
I like how you write in the book about how when you played, they used to call them bench jockeys, and you don't. I don't know if you hear that as much anymore. I guess it's called trash talk now. But you guys seem to have a lot more fun, making fun of the other guys back when you played.
Well, that was part of the game. You tried to get into their head. But, you touched on something. I constantly get people who say, hey, Joe, when you guys played, you played for the love of the game. You had fun doing it. And I said, no, wait a minute. We played for money. We tried to get as much money as we could, but we didn't have the union going for us, the Players Association, and we certainly didn't have agents going for us. And Kenny Boyer, the great Cardinal third baseman, he had the best line of all. When people said to him, you play for the love of the game, he says, you know what? I do play for the love of the game. But the more money I get, the more I love this game.
Talking with Joe Garagiola.
That's what it's all about.
Oh, sure. Joe Garagiola joining us, Just Play Ball. The name of the book. I just want to talk to you a little bit about what your other broadcasting you did. I remember a show when I was a kid. I tuned in on, I think it was Channel 11 in New York. I grew up in New York. A great show that you hosted called He Said, She Said. I always liked that show. Remember that?
I love that game show. I really did. And the fun of it was that when the husband was backstage, he couldn't hear what the wife said, and vice versa. And boy, we got some laughs out of that show. That was a good show, Doug.
That was kind of a forerunner. Actually, it was a forerunner to what became Tattletales a few years after that.
Well, it was the same show.
Yeah.
And the network bought it, and they changed the name. Like, networks are known to do that.
Yes.
I mean, you get a reality show, and if it's a hit, look out, here they come. Dancing with the Stars. Now you got America's Got Talent and this, that, and the other thing. American Idol's got all kinds of imitators. But, Tattletales, Bert Convey, who, by the way, was a minor league player in the White Sox.
That's right. I knew about it. Yeah, right. Yeah, good minor league ball player, he said.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.